ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Friday, December 5th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Chop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Coming up today on the program, we're going to be speaking with our good friend Rob Cornelius from the Ohio Bobcats radio network. The Herd heading up to the Convocation Center to take on the Bobcats. That is 4 o'clock on Saturday, but don't forget, we always go on an hour early. 3 o'clock will be our airtime right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. The Thundering Herd looking to bounce back after a disappointing loss, a 1-point loss against UNCW. Bobcats, on the other hand, are just looking for wins. Right now, the Bobcats, are you ready for this? This is not an Ohio team that I'm used to seeing on the court. This Ohio team has only won 2 games. Beat Illinois State and then got a win against Maine. After that, there are no other wins on the schedule so far, so the Thundering Herd hopefully not overlooking this Bobcat team. I would hope not. Coach Jackson knows what the rivalry is all about, what it means. I think all the parties involved will understand. Should be a good crowd for Herd fans traveling to the Convocation Center tomorrow. This is 80, 90 miles, give or take, between the two communities. Marshall, Ohio, in one another's backyard. As we mentioned yesterday, day before, we know a lot of people that are Marshall fans, Ohio fans. Obviously, if you're listening to this show, you're mostly a Marshall fan. But we've got people that are Ohio fans that went to Ohio that we work with. So hopefully Coach Jackson, we can get it done and then give everybody a little bit more of a pleasant Monday, giving a lot of grief to those Ohio fans. There's some Ohio members in the media as well. I highlighted Amanda Barron from WOWK, since Spencer Adkins stopped by yesterday for the Toys for Tots event that was happening outside our building. So if Marshall wins, I'm just going to randomly text a couple of Bobcat people that I know, including Amanda. So if you know Amanda, give her the heads up right now that the trash talking will begin after the Herd gets the win. But we're going to talk to Rob in just a few minutes, and, of course, we're going to get your text as well. And that's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. High school football action in West Virginia, the Class 4A championship. Earlier today, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930, saw Morgantown for the first time in 20 years win a state championship, defeating Martinsburg 28-21. So congratulations to Morgantown beating Martinsburg, an almost unstoppable machine. That was an amazing stat, thinking about it. Morgantown's been a really solid program in West Virginia high school football for all those 20 years. But, of course, Martinsburg has been a machine. It's been very rare that a team outside of Martinsburg would even hoist the championship. Huntington did it a few years ago. So very rare indeed, but Morgantown getting the victory. Coming up later tonight is going to be Clay Battelle taking on Wheeling Central. Battelle is 12-1 coming into this championship game. Wheeling Central is 9-2, and that is your Class A championship. We've got that game for you coming up tonight, 6:45 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. High school football championship games this weekend. Class A in Kentucky, Raceland taking on Kentucky Country Day. And we'll get the update for you later in the show. Wheelersburg taking on Liberty Central Saturday at 7:30 at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton. Of course, we've got some big matchups this weekend as well. Number 1, Ohio State's taking on number 2, Indiana. And the Big Ten Championship game, that's going to be a Saturday night affair. 8 o'clock, we'll be done with basketball. Plenty of time for you to watch that one. And number 25, James Madison, playing host to Troy in the Sun Belt Conference Championship game. That's coming up tonight at 7. Who you taking in that one? You like James Madison? You want James Madison to remain the top team, possibly get a bid into the college football playoff. There is a strong possibility, right? Troy could upset the apple cart there. So I think we're all collectively, outside of those in Alabama, rooting for Troy, pulling for James Madison in this one. And, of course, basketball action coming up tonight. We will have number 18 Kentucky taking on number 11 Gonzaga. That's coming up tonight, 7 o'clock. 5:30 is airtime on 92.7 and 98.5 The Planet and Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. And then staying with basketball, on the women's side, 25th ranked West Virginia will play host to Mercyhurst. That's coming up tonight at 7 o'clock. So we're going to talk to Rob in a few minutes. Want to find out more about the Bobcats. The Bobcats sitting at 2-6, 2-2 at the Convocation Center. So this will be a rare early season game. The Bobcats getting that win against Maine, that was the first game back at the Convocation Center since November 19th. So this is a team looking for some wins quickly. The Thundering Herd, on the other hand, trying to bounce back after 2 straight losses. Marshall losing a disappointing game against UNC Wilmington, 70-69. That game was characterized by free throws, and more free throws. The Thundering Herd giving up a lot of points on the charity stripe, 39 attempts, and also Marshall, the last 8 points scored against the Herd all came from the free throw line. So will that be the storyline and the Convocation Center tomorrow? We're going to find out. We'll talk to Rob Cornelius in a few minutes, and then we'll hear from you. And again, that text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So who do you like in this one tomorrow? The Bobcats or, of course, the Thundering Herd? And for the championship game, pulling for James Madison, you want to see the Sun Belt maybe have a shot at getting one of those playoff spots, or do you just not like James Madison? You don't care. Marshall's not in it. Let's go, Troy. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. The text line to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
We're going to open up our text line in just a few moments at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. It is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. I want to welcome our next guest to the program. He is regarded as the finest color analyst in the history of the Mid-American Conference, and I think for the last 15, 20 years, he has been the reigning and defending Western States Heritage Champion. Rob Cornelius is with us. It's always a pleasure to catch up with Rob. How are you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Good. Great day. Beautiful day or something. I don't know, cold. It's me. Colder tomorrow, I think.
It's always cold in Athens this time of year. It's beautiful, but it's always cold.
Why are you guys anti-Athens? It's beautiful.
I'm not anti-Athens.
It's a good setting. It's a pretty campus.
Have you not heard this show? I talk about Athens being a great place. The Convocation Center, a fantastic place to watch a basketball game.
You didn't know this. You didn't even watch our game midweek. Convocation Center, happy birthday. Was 57 on Wednesday. Doesn't look a day over 50.
Is that for real? That's amazing.
Yeah, it was funny because we all kind of stumbled into it because we were looking back at the anniversary and someone like a day in your life said on this date in 1968, Ohio beat Indiana. And we look back, it's like, oh, yeah, that was the opener. And, yeah, and for some reason back then, Big Ten teams still scheduled us a lot. We played like 5 Big Tens to open, won a few of them. So, cool.
It's a beautiful arena. It's been well kept. It's fantastic, and I'm sure that you can get another, hopefully, 50 to 100 years out of it because it's a unique building. You don't see too many buildings like that in college athletics, and it has
and nobody in the MAC is going to build that big again. Even teams in the SEC aren't building that big, or there's no real impetus to do it unless you have a million private boxes, which we don't. But I mean, again, that building, WVU's building, there are a lot of them that similar template, from around 1970 that are 13K, 14K, and just do the job.
What are we expecting crowd-wise tomorrow? Let's forget the records. I've thrown those out. What are we expecting tomorrow?
I mean, hopefully, half full, but half full in that building is pretty much full in Huntington. I mean, I'd like to see 7,000 or whatever. But again, students are obviously starting to piece out. When even though they're on semesters, they get out earlier and earlier. People try and sneak home, so you don't have as many people around on December 7, 8, 9, 10 as you used to in years before. So hopefully locals amp it up. And again, I'd like to see this team. Been on the road a ton. Frankly, lost a ton, overscheduled a little bit in the pre-conference. I think Jeff Bowles been pretty open about that. My mistake, my gaffe. We reached a little too high, and you combine that with the Sun Belt Challenge opener, lost to Ark State, who literally has 15 new dudes. Good luck to Marshall with them because they're interesting. They're totally different than what they did last year. But no, went on the road, played Louisville, got drilled. There's a couple kind of head scratchers. Beat Illinois State at home, who we think is going to be a good team, and has done some stuff since. And again, I was looking at Marshall stuff, the little KenPom research before you called me, and things look really, really good. That Lipscomb loss at home was kind of a head scratcher. I think you and I talked about that the other day. But Marshall does what Marshall does. It's speed, it's threes, it's not playing a whole lot of defense. At least that's what the stats say. We'll see.
So that answers my question. 2-6, not overlooking the record. I think the Thundering Herd against Lipscomb, I don't want to say the team overlooked that team based off the record, but that was not a fine effort. Then you turn around and you go on the road at Wilmington, and 39 free throw attempts from Wilmington. You take that stupid stat away. Marshall wins this game.
I agree with that. Again, it goes to me, and again, I'm not insulting the team on their home radio stations or family of stations, but if you go to the KenPoms, all the nerd stats, it says Marshall defends by fouling. They send teams to the line a bunch. And I think 40 free throws is a little hot, probably regardless, crew agnostic or what officials are getting, but that'll do it. And that's just a tendency. Ohio does something as well, but Ohio, in this era, for as many threes as are shot, we're not a very good three-point shooting team right now. We're much more effective from two, and maybe we can go and get some paint touches for Javen Simmons, who's our new big, who that's what was missing when you guys played Toledo. He was probably their best player. He's not there anymore. We got him. So it's interesting. I think we're a little more choosy than last year. We need to be, at least for the time being, until we start hitting shots again.
Talk to me about some of the names that we're familiar with from last year. Jackson Pavlevsky comes to mind for me.
He's been fantastic. He's kind of the straw that stirs the drink. A point guard who doesn't shoot a ton of threes, very elusive. He's a guy who basically invites you to double team him so he can pass and find somebody else. And if our guys were making some more threes, his assist numbers and his computer stats look a lot better. He's basically this guy who comes down top of the lane and sets up at 14 or 15 and distributes and does it well, but also has permission to take that mid-range two that nobody takes anymore, and he makes a lot of them. That's really, really, really good. Aiden Hadaway, up and down, emotional, mercurial, big rebounder, maybe doesn't defend enough, but offensively he's gotten off for mid-20s, has career high 28, I think, in that Illinois State game. He's fun. He's a guy who's on your team. You love to cheer for him. Doesn't always make the best decisions, but he makes a lot of decisions because he's around the ball a lot. And Javen Simmons is a classic Mac Post type from 1998, and by that I mean a bigger, thicker dude who barely dreams of shooting the three, and if he's on, he's going to go and get you 15 and 10 and a bunch of effort and yelling and looking at the handheld camera and being kind of an emotional leader, but again, a very big man basketball sense that we don't see a whole lot of teams play. Great Mac player, was a little out of his element maybe against like Louisville, some of those matchups, but in our league, by getting Simmons, great player, great high school player from southeast side of Columbus suburbs, but you go and get one of the top 10 players in your league, and you get him from one of the top 4 teams in the league in Toledo, so you've made yourself better, you've made the rest of the league worse. I think that's going to be the secret sauce for Ohio can be good this year and be in that top 3 or 4 teams in our league.
Rob Cornelius is with us from the Ohio Bobcats radio network. So you look at this record, and you see that Louisville's there. Okay, you really don't know how to characterize this team based off of Louisville or a couple of other games. What are you looking for when Ohio gets closer to a schedule more? Its speed, not to say that you're playing down to your competition or playing up, but what do you think when this team finally finds its rhythm we can expect from the Bobcats?
I think you can expect top 4 in the league as they're predicted for. And again, as with everybody expanding their league schedule because they can't get, that many big time games, we have league games coming up later in the month. We start that league schedule sooner than we used to. in the MAC, and I think we'll be just fine in the MAC. Had a couple health problems early as well, blending in some new faces. Kier Quanning, Australian kid who's with us all last year as a redshirt, who's basically a human jumping jack type, not a ton of offense yet, but it's putbacks, it's dunks, it's running the floor, it's being long. If you remember Patrick Flomo, Bobcat from about 25 years ago, reminds you a lot of that guy. Elijah Elliott showed flashes last year. He was one of the two Florida kids on the team. He stayed. The other went to Florida with his brother, did A.J. Brown. But Elijah Elliott is a guy, hyper athletic point guard. Is a smaller guy who will aggressively try and dunk on you. Showed a lot of flashes last year. He's one of the guys who's been a little hurt early this season. If he's 100%, he can be one of the better 6th, 7th guys in the league. He's not starting again yet, but I think he will be again soon. And Ohio's added a couple guys outside the league. Obviously, we're all taking transfers. It's all a little bit of NIL this, a little bit of that. York Connors was at App State last year. Nice shooter, just a nice outside piece. Probably isn't aggressive enough with his offense. And Jalen Breath was jumping jack rebounder, strictly defensive rebounder, not really a guy you ran a lot of plays to at UNC Greensboro last year. And he's a guy who, again, has been hurt for a couple games, but he is a double-double machine in the MAC, probably waiting to happen. So if you have him on the floor with Javen Simmons, from Toledo, who does a lot of the same things, that's a real classic late 90s, Ohio BG thick-looking team.
Rob Cornelius with us, Ohio Bobcats Radio Network. We're getting you set for Marshall and Ohio.
Hold on.
Sir.
Pause.
Yes.
Pause. I've got TV tomorrow, actually.
You've got TV.
I'm on the plus tomorrow. Yeah,
you're
it's
big
me
time.
And Gabe Genovese, one of our young people who was went and did his Learfield tour. Where he hangs out in Winston-Salem, eats a lot of free pizza, figure your life out. He's come back to Ohio and is our great scholar in waiting for whatever any of the rest of us quit or something. But no, he and I are doing the game on TV tomorrow, and I kind of pared back my schedule. I'm getting off the road with radio. Much as I love Jason Toy and all the hanging out we did last year, I've got some stuff at home, so I need to pare my schedule back and not be in Mount Pleasant on a Tuesday night at Texas Roadhouse. So that's out.
Does anyone want to be in Mount Pleasant on a Tuesday? Is anyone?
No, because there's nothing to do. Although the new hotel everybody stays in is literally adjacent to the stadium and across the street from Texas Roadhouse, which is rarely wrong. So we're good with that. But no, I'm getting off the road some, so that's going to cut my schedule back considerably. But I can kind of enjoy this a little bit more. And just the other cool thing about TV, and I don't know, don't tell Cotton or the other guys this, but literally when the game's over, you can roll. There's no post game. There's no big post prod meeting. I was in the parking lot at 8:57 the other night. It was awesome.
Rob Cornelius upgrading. That's why you're Rob Cornelius.
I've been beating on myself going to these games. I'm doing this radio stuff for 25 years. I'm like, you know what? I need a treat, and I want to dial back the schedule a little. So perfect.
That's why you're a treasure in the Mid-American Conference.
Beloved aunt or whatever my wife says. Yeah.
How long you been? You 25 years? Has it been that long?
Legit, sideline for football, 97 or 98, and then I've been doing the basketball on and off since Derek Scott needed a buddy. So yeah, roughly 25 years in both.
That's an accurate description. Derek Scott needed a friend.
He always needs a buddy, but I talk to him every day. He's doing good.
He's fantastic. We love Derek Scott. So you've got that going on. Since I've got you here, what else is happening with you? What other irons do you have in the fire? Because you're always busy.
Yeah, I know. I'm always doing, as you know, and this is the line I straddle in West Virginia. I'm doing political campaigns and helping candidates and doing some PR stuff, and people just asking me for advice and telling folks how to get elected or unelected, and so I have a good time doing that. Then I'll just I'll go on Metro shows and try to keep them hopping and give them something entertaining to say, help their ratings. Probably need it. So.
Well, we appreciate you helping our ratings as well here.
Dude, you don't have me on enough. We do this once a year. We should, maybe, I don't know, just whenever something funny happens, just give me a yell. I'm sure I can riff about it for 7 or 8 minutes.
Okay, we can do that. Or you know what? You can also just call your shot. I do have open invitations where people just call their shot. Like Spencer Atkins, for example.
I rarely invite myself, though. It feels like it's kind of gauche. It's like front announcing and back announcing yourself both every break.
Sometimes you have to if you're the only one. You're the only guy.
Disco Stu does not advertise, my friend.
I gotcha. But you know what? Spencer Atkins just calls his shot. He comes and does Toys for
Oh,
Tots every year.
I love that guy. He's in my text messages all day. He's a good dude. One of my favorites.
He's
all those dog photos and all his grandchildren, so good.
And the band photos, don't forget those.
Oh, so much band. Yeah, he's popular with the non-sports people too, and that's good.
He's the only weather meteorologist that's sports ready. He's probably the best sports anchor not doing sports in the market.
Remember when he used? Well, I mean, yeah, he still does some Friday football for them. Remember when he used to be obsessed with NASCAR too? So
yeah,
he's always got plenty to talk about.
He's fantastic,
good dude.
And everybody likes him.
Highest Q rating in the market, I think. Better be.
I think you're right. Everybody likes him. I don't know anyone who would say a crass word to him other than "Go Cowboys" to him. They will say that. We got a lot of that trash yesterday on the show.
Oh, from yesterday. Well, no, I mean, that just felt like a Lions the whole way. Although the stats were weird. If you were looking around, some of the stats did not come out the way some of the folks in the desert would have expected out of that game. But Detroit pretty much ran it out.
Of course, you know where my heart lies. It lies with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals.
No, ditto, and hopefully we'll see his dad come up the next few weeks. Maybe might go to a bowl. He likes to go to stuff like that. He still comes to our coaches' shows during the week. A lot of the time, Jimmy does. So, no, hopefully Joey's got it figured out. The most uncomfortable thing I've seen in months was that game last week, the Thanksgiving game, whatever, where they gave him that really heavy goal pylon, and he didn't know how to hold it. He was clearly uncomfortable the whole time at postgame. Other guys were eating crabs and turkey legs stabled to a horse or whatever they were doing, and they just gave him this trophy. He was really uncomfortable. It was where do I put my sword? I don't know what to do with this thing. It's stupid. It was pretty funny. He was over it pretty fast.
Absolutely.
Love Joe.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love. You know what? See, that's another reason why I like Athens.
Yeah, no, man. And again, everyone just blends in. Like I said, his parents just show up at a restaurant. It's just totally normal.
But yeah, we're just Joe Burrow's parents. That's all. Yeah, that's Joe. Yeah, we're I'm Joe's mom.
You realize his mom worked a day job at a grade school until a year and a half, 2 years ago. The most normal people ever. And if you get his dad going, all he wants to do is talk about his Grey Cup rings. Grey Cup rings. That's awesome.
Ask how many does he have? How many?
Ask Jimmy about his multiple CFL rings. He was 2 or 3 with the Owls, the Alouettes. No, he has these great stories. Don't ask him about Joe. Don't ask him about the Bengals. Don't ask him about the Bobcats. Ask him what it was like to be in the locker room next to Tony Perez when they were both at the Expo Stadium, at Olympic Stadium. I kid you not. That's the best topic. Get him on something he's really interested in that nobody asks about, and he just goes. It's awesome.
Okay, make that happen. Yeah, I'll let you help me book that. That's an interview we need to have here real soon on the show.
He's so good. Anyway, brother, appreciate the time.
Hey, man, I appreciate you doing it.
We will see a bunch of your fans and friends on Saturday, 4 p.m. Obviously, it's on the radio whenever. It's on the TV at 4:03 or whenever we kick, and we'll go from there.
I'll say to you this way. I'll be listening to Mr. Cotton, and then I will have you up. Now that I know it's you, I'll actually have the volume up on the ESPN Plus broadcast tomorrow. Cool.
I'm excited about that. I'm sure the transcript will be fantastic.
Thanks for doing it. I appreciate you as always.
See you, dude. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
That's Rob Cornelius. He's the best in the Mid-American Conference for a reason. We will continue with your text, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 on today's edition of The Drive.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Open text line rest of the way, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I asked the question earlier, would you rather see James Madison win the Sun Belt Conference Championship, or would you like to see Troy with the upset and you don't care about the college football playoff? Marshall's not in the postseason anyway, so you don't care. That was our question. 304-396-TALK was the place to be. Texter says, absolutely pulling for JMU. Would like to see the Sun Belt get into the postseason. Appreciate the text. They're in. They're in. They're going to get a good bowl. We just don't know yet if the committee's going to look at them and go, you know what? They won their championship, and say Duke wins. Duke wins the ACC. Does JMU go a little bit higher in the seeding process here? Does it get into one of those spots? that's going to be an interesting question that will be answered. Of course, Heisman voting is going to begin soon. Of course, we got conference championship games first and foremost. And with that said, a lot of people, myself included, I'll watch the conference championship games. I do have a Heisman vote. And so try to watch college football throughout the year. I don't just focus on Marshall. When I'm sitting down at home and I've got time, I'm looking at some of the other games, making sure I've got a big eye on the matchups, trying to figure out, okay, where should I be paying more attention to? Where should I be looking? And I think we got some interesting conference matchups coming up this weekend. So, the Heisman voting will be conducted soon, and then the finalists will be announced in a few days after that. This is going to be an interesting race, but the conference championship, a lot of people do wait. I do wait. It'll open up, and I'll sit there and take good notes. Like, okay, here's where I think I am. Are they showing me anything different? Is this a situation in which they've crumbled under pressure, or they've just proven my point, or they've excelled? That's what I do. And, of course, as is required, I cannot say anything about my vote. I can't, because, again, and here's the funny thing about it. Betting is such a thing now. There are a lot of people that are trying to figure out where the Heisman vote is going. And if you're a voter, you're basically told, hey, you can tell people you're a voter. That's cool. Congratulations. But you can't reveal your vote until after the Heisman has been selected. So I can vote. I just can't tell you who I voted for. It's a secret ballot. And I'm okay with that because afterwards, you'll see a lot of sports writers, sportscasters, people who have a vote. We'll post our votes. And every year, if the vote doesn't go a certain way, somebody picks somebody they think is more worthy than maybe the popular choice. A lot of people will get on social media and troll them. I had Kenny Pickett as third one year. I thought, again, we're not talking about his pro career. We're talking about his college career. I had Pickett third. I'm like, I think he deserved the third shot. Now, I wish that there was somebody good enough from the Mountain State that I could maybe give that third vote to. I remember Chuck Landon saying, look, there's an in-state player that's a Heisman candidate. I'm going to vote for that person. And I understood his logic there. Bring some attention to an in-state product. And he didn't care. He was school agnostic at that point. Look, best player in the state of West Virginia. Doesn't matter if they play for Marshall or WVU. I'm going to vote for him. I believe that's what he told me. Not verbatim, but I did see him, by the way. I saw the columnist a few weeks ago. He looked good. Absolutely. Probably because he's enjoying his retirement now. But the columnist looked good, so it was great to see him a few weeks ago. Hopefully I'll see him out and about soon. We'll get your text in now, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Paul, did you see the end of the Quad A championship game between Martinsburg and Morgantown? I did listen to it. We had it on the radio if you weren't with us earlier, and I did listen to the call. Dave Wilson and Fred Persinger were calling the game. And didn't the kid for Martinsburg not know how many downs that the team had? It was fourth down, and didn't he spike the ball? I think that's what happened there. I was listening to it in the background, trying to get other things done. So I heard that, and I heard Fred start talking about, hey, that kid, that's heartbreaking, but that kid's got to know what the clock is. You got to know position. You got to know where you're at in the game. And so I did hear the aftermath of that, and I heard a little bit of that call. Dave Wilson had it, and that was cool for Dave because he's been calling those Mohegan games for a long time. And for him to be on the network, obviously he works with Metro News to get to call that championship game. I'm excited for him. Deserves a ring. Hopefully he'll get one. The team always gives rings out when you win those championships. And so I hope that he gets a ring as well. That was fun to listen to today. We're going to have the single A game, and we're going to have the double A game on Saturday. We don't have the triple A game only because Marshall is playing tomorrow. If Spring Valley would have made it to the triple A championship, we would have had that game, but we're going to have 3 of the 4, and, of course, you can watch that triple A game on Metro News, or you can head over to their website and catch it as well. Thanks for the text, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I actually asked Bill Cornwell today, our news director. I said, Bill, this is good. This is a good game. What do you think? And he's like, it's got to go to Morgantown. Morgantown's got to win this. The Hall of Famer was correct. So kudos to him. Give that man his flowers. He flat out said Morgantown's going to win the championship. More of your texts coming up on this edition of The Drive. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Final segment for today's edition of The Drive, but we have plenty of time for you. Our text line for this Friday, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. It's the quiet before the storm tomorrow. The Thundering Herd in Athens taking on the Ohio Bobcats. This is, depending on who you ask. Now, I'm trying to get the clarification on this, because when I looked at the notes and I was starting to prep for this game, it's the 109th meeting of this series. 109th meeting, but the record is 57-52. So that's 109 games. So I'm trying to get some clarification. Okay, is this the 109th meeting? What did I miss? So if you actually know why we have this as the 109th meeting as a schedule quirk, I'm asking the long-time, I don't want to say the older Herd fans, the veteran Herd fans. If you've got actually insight on this one, I've kind of been curious. I've been looking at this all day. Like, what am I missing? Why are we calling this the 109th meeting when the record is 57-52? That's 109 right there, so 109 games. So I didn't want to come on tomorrow and say, hey, the record's 57-52. This is the 109th meeting when they've already played 109 games. But the record is 57-52. Marshall's won 3 straight, including a 79-70 win last year in Huntington and a 74-69 in Athens in 2023. Thundering Herd still scoring a lot of points, 80 points per game, hitting nearly 11 threes per game. Also, I'm hoping to see a little bit more from 7'4" transfer Matt Van Komen in this game tomorrow. Ohio, as we alluded to earlier, looking for a turnaround. Sitting at 2-6, they've struggled defensively. They've given up over 81 points a contest. They've also given up 27% from the three-point line, needing a win in a bad way, possibly overscheduled at St. Mary's, at Louisville. George Mason was a 92-69 loss. Won against Maine, 79-57, but I expect that from Ohio. Also, good reference game. Ohio lost to Arkansas State in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge, 89-85. So I look at this schedule and think, okay, they've played a good schedule. It's tough. Rob Cornelius was with us earlier from the Ohio Bobcats. He's now on ESPN Plus. Used to be on the radio network. And he alluded to the fact that this team is overscheduled. There's some head-scratchers here, but at the same time, I think we've got a head-scratcher or two with the Thundering Herd schedule. As you look at and you think, okay, Marshall had a rough go of it in the first half against Virginia, played a good second half. All right, I feel good about this team. You take care of business against Arkansas Pine Bluff like you're supposed to, 98-70. And then you have a little tougher of a contest with Mercyhurst, 69-60. And then it just all falls apart against Lipscomb, 90-67. And then the Thundering Herd gave up a lot of free points. 39 points from the free throw. 39 attempts from the free throw line. 29 from the actual box score, but 39 attempts, gave up that many. Marshall cleans that up. Marshall wins that game. That might sound a little biased, but I completely believe that. Marshall cleans that up and doesn't have that situation, doesn't have that technical late, and you don't have that foul situation toward the end where last 8 points scored by Wilmington from the free throw line. You gave up a 7-point lead to lose by 1. All those points coming from the free throw line. That was a winnable game. Marshall had opportunity. So you're going to Athens tomorrow to the Convocation Center hoping that you can flip the script. And you don't want to come back to Huntington on a 3-game losing streak. Especially since you perform well against Wilmington, but then you go into a situation in Athens where this team's looking for a win. But it's a Convocation Center. It's a great venue. It should be, 7,000 we were saying earlier? Half full, but still, that'll be a great crowd. If you're making the trip tomorrow, you haven't been to Athens in a while, it's a great place to watch a basketball game. If you've been, you know the deal already. It's always a fun trip, so they take care of you in Athens, and hopefully this series will continue for the entirety of my life and then some. There should always be a Marshall, Ohio basketball game on the schedule. Text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, I hate Ohio. Only because I work with Ohio fans. Appreciate the text. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what makes it fun, is because I'll roll in here and there's that one guy in his cube. He's got Ohio gear on. You know why? Because he's an Ohio grad. He was in the band as well. And let me tell you, I think the band is treated better than the football team. Maybe not the basketball team, but the band is treated better than the football team in Athens. I really think the football game is just a showcase for the band, not the other way around, that the band's there to kind of augment the football team. You know, hey, we're here at halftime to entertain. The game is the showcase. Like, we're planning to play this game, but we're really here just for the band. At least that's my impression of Athens. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 is our text line to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. NFL action last night. Lions beat them Cowboys 44-30. Let me say that again for all of you that were all over me yesterday wanting to troll known Lions fan Spencer Adkins. 44-30. Lions beat them Cowboys. Bengals Buffalo coming up Sunday. 11:30 is our airtime here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Actually a pretty busy day in the NFL for the AFC North with the Bengals and the Buffalo Bills on Sunday at 1. You also have the Browns and the Titans at 1 on Sunday, and then the Steelers at Ravens Sunday at 1 o'clock. I don't know who I'm pulling for in that one. I'm pulling for the Titans. You know that already. Which one's the lesser of two evils? The Steelers or the Ravens? Which one do you pull for? I'm going to have to pull for the Ravens maybe in that one. I don't know why. I don't like either one of those teams. But if you look at the AFC North standings, the Ravens are 6-6, the Steelers are 6-6. And the Bengals are sitting at 4-8. Now, the Bengals split the series with the Steelers. So if the Ravens win, that'll put them at 7-6. And let's say that the Bengals win. The Bengals all of a sudden will be 5-8. Just a couple games back. And then you play the Ravens again. You look at the Bengals schedule the rest of the way. You got to get past the Bills first. Let's just say the Bills lose. Joe Burrow's back, and all is right in the world. Then you have to contend with the Ravens again. And if the Bengals can get the Ravens, and then the Bengals can beat the Dolphins. Bengals can beat the Dolphins, right? The Bengals can beat the Cardinals, right? Bengals can beat the Browns, right? That's what I'm asking. I think let's see what happens with the Bengals and Bills first. But I'm just looking ahead here. Is there an outside shot? Could this happen? Could we see the Bengals sneak into a wild card spot? Could the Steelers fall completely apart? Because the Steelers, after the Ravens game, the Dolphins, the Lions, the Browns and the Ravens again. So, you could see the Ravens and the Steelers split. You could see the Steelers and the Browns split. And then with the Ravens, of course, what's its situation? Well, Ravens have got those Bengals again on December 14th. Patriots, that's going to be tough. Steelers, Packers, not 100% there. Of course, the Browns are not even in this conversation right now. The Browns will take on the Bears, and then the Bills, then the Steelers before the Bengals. Am I overly optimistic about them Bengals? Texter asks, and yes, I can confirm your text. Still the play-by-play broadcaster for Ohio. So, yes, I can confirm that. Rob is the color analyst now on the television network. And so, yes, I can confirm that. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That is the number to be a part of the program today. So, I've been trying to research this. 109th meeting, I'm going with 110. I can't find anything to tell me why it's 109th meeting when the series is 57 and 52, and that's 109 games played. So I'm going to go with 110 as well. So 109 games played in this series, 57, 52. That's the number. Thundering Herd has won 3 straight, including last year in Huntington. Let's hope that the Thundering Herd's luck against the Bobcats will continue. I want to live to see a day in which Marshall leads the all-time series with the Ohio Bobcats in basketball. Don't play enough in football yet for that to maybe happen one day. But in basketball, I want to be able, maybe when I retire, the last time I do the college football pregame and postgame. The pregame, the series will be tied. And then on the postgame, I'm talking about Marshall now leads the all-time series with Ohio. I want to be able to retire knowing that Marshall's got the series lead. Hopefully, the Herd can do it in a few years and then leave some room to spare. I don't want that to be my last game, by the way. Not yet, anyway. We got some ways to go here. Plenty of time left. That's going to do it. Thanks for being a part of it here on ESPN 94.1 at AM 930.